Do you ever feel as though you're losing your sense of like creativity and like problem solving whenever you use these? Because whenever I use ChatGPT, part of the reason why I don't use it a ton is just because I feel like whenever I use it, I'm not flexing the creative muscle in my head. I'm just like,
100%.
oh, I'm just gonna take the easy way out.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
so
I
Liam,
noticed that
What do you?
with,
Yeah.
with code, absolutely. I mean, for a while, like I remember in high school, I was writing a lot of Python scripts for things. I just when I learned Python, it was just fun. It's like, oh, I have to fill out a
Yeah.
big thing. I'm just gonna have a Python script that just pastes a bunch of things, or just all sorts of things can be easier. Little experiments I want to run, but all that stuff can just be done so much faster with AI now. So I definitely stopped for a couple of years. For a couple of years, I wasn't doing much code until this crypto project, mainly because it's not as much code as other things. So it's only, I mean, it's like 1,000 lines of code. I guess that's a lot, but there's a lot of comments in it, and it all has to be perfect. So I have to understand how it all works completely anyway.
Right.
And I've kind of had to relearn basic coding through this project, and now it's kind of, whereas before I'd have ChatGPT do everything. There's some, I trust myself more with minor fixes again. But there was definitely that reintroduction for me, that like I had kind of just anytime I wanted to interact with code, and over the last couple of years it's been chat. But now I'm actually going in the other direction a little bit. So I don't know though. It's definitely
Right,
it's a
'cause,
trend.
like-
It's definitely.
yeah, because especially with ChatGPT, like you don't know what you don't know.
Mhm.
Like it can spit something out and you can be like, I don't know exactly what that is, but I trust it. And it's good to hear that you're doing more with yourself and not completely relying on it. But
Mhm.
another thing with like these large language models and using chatbots is I don't want to become reliant on getting my information from them, especially like in college, because I'm going to be using my knowledge that I learned in this period, and I'm going to say, okay, I can reliably use that knowledge, and I don't want to almost taint it with some nugget of information that I learned from ChatGPT and it turns out to be wrong. So how do you go about like fact checking that?
I mean, I feel like most information, like Google searches that you do into ChatGPT, are just correct now. And like especially since like Google returns with AI responses now, I trust ChatGPT as much as those responses at this point. I don't know.
I don't trust those
it is tricky.
responses.
Yeah, I guess I don't. Of course I don't completely trust either of them. But you're right. It's weird.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
no, Ben.
what I mean, I've definitely experienced that where it's just like at a certain point I'll feel like, wow, I'm really just doing less than I was. Like I'm really just like thinking less. And so now what I try to do is I mean, okay, there's a few different classifications of like things you could ask it. Like some things are like a big portion of the things are the way I think about it is basically like Google searching, but just in like a just a more personalized, better way. So like for things that 5 years ago or 3 years ago we would have just like Google searched. Now we use AI. I don't think that's any worse. I think that's just like using the tools, and it's just sort of it's doing the same thing where it's like looking up stuff, but it's just sort of like aggregating these sources. And like to me, I think I have no problem with that from like a personal growth perspective. But then there's other things where like if you ask it to just like write an entire piece of code where like you like genuinely could not have figured it out besides that, yeah, then it's like, oh, okay, this is not really that fun anymore because the whole point is I'm supposed to be like learning.
Yeah. At what
But
point does it cross the boundary of like a useless tool, not useless, but like a tool to find out trivial information rather than turning into a crutch to like help you get through some topic?
I've gone back and forth on that a little bit, especially with code, because like
Mhm.
I don't know, in the old days, like languages keep getting higher and higher level. Like Python is a much higher level language than most of the stuff they were doing like many years ago. You
Mhm.
don't have to deal with memory. You don't have to deal with as many explicit
Yeah.
operations. I see this as
Yeah.
just like the next evolution of that. Whereas Python, you're already coding with a lot of words. Now you're really just coding with words. That's what ChatGPT is, and really getting.
Mhm.
Oh, that's
I think
it's just like
I think it's a huge productivity boost. And if along the way we lose our ability to program, I think there's upsides and downsides to that. I just think that's inevitable. Probably for the average person that doesn't
mm,
need to be a developer to lose that, or maybe even certain
Yeah,
developers
I
that are
definitely
only going to do
don't.
text-based developing at some point. I think that's totally plausible.
I don't know. I think that if that does happen, just like being honest, I think there will be the developers that know how to code, and then those will be like the people that understand this stuff more, and so they're not gonna like hire people that don't know how to code. Like if you're
But
going into
but
a
don't you
job
think it
interview being
depends?
like, yeah, I don't really know Python. No, because I think like even though these people know that ChatGPT might one day be really good at coding, they're not gonna hire someone just as a prompt engineer. I think they're going to still value like the knowledge that you gain from learning like in a formal education. Like I'm not saying that there
Mhm.
won't someday be like the ChatGPT university or something,
That's funny.
but until it's like an accredited, like ingrained into society of you can actually learn and it's like a college level education, I don't think people are going to hire anyone that's like, I don't actually know how to do this, but I trust ChatGPT.
I think
So,
that's a good point. And I think in the interim, what you're going to see is a lot of jobs replaced, like not developers, the people that used code for other things. Like maybe a researcher uses code to make scripts to run stuff for tests of really any kind. That I could see in the next 5 years, most of those people being replaced, being like, I don't really know the underlying code, but I'm really good at prompt engineering, and I can get the same results with the same degree of accuracy,
mm,
or probably even higher,
mm,
that the previous person of this role could do that did have coding knowledge but wasn't a developer. So I think it's just a slow barrier that's going to move just due to efficiency um, needs of the market.
yeah, I think a big thing also like it depends on the it depends on the actual application. So like
Mm-hmm.
there's a big difference between like you said, I like the example you gave where it's like writing code to do this research. That's very different than writing code to fly the spaceship, right? Like
Yes.
yeah.
there's like these different things have different redundancy requirements, and like I don't know about you, but I want humans, like multiple humans, to look over the code that's running all the rockets more than I care about having humans look over this code that's just like helping this researcher do this one thing.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
I
like,
it
just
also
I
depends
don't
on the research.
I
yes,
think even
yes.
that though depends in the long term. Like if the best reasoning models, I mean, okay, like the best programmers in the world make mistakes, and a collection of them can make a mistake and
Mhm.
produce code that is the world's best code that has mistakes in it. I think there's going to be a time when we have certain types of tasks, programming tasks, that the best AI can just do better than humans on that stuff. It can have at least
I mean, like,
best human level mistake avoidance. And for those types of
to
tasks,
speak to
if
your
those are tasks,
credit, it's
yeah,
the same thing as spell check.
yeah,
Like, spell check is a form of AI. It is an artificial intelligence that runs on your computer that, as you're typing, it is quote unquote reading the words. And then whenever something is misspelled, it's able to recognize that and underline it and say, hey, this is what it should be.
no,
And
it's
same
all
with
just
like
different
grammar.
tools.
Mm-hmm.
Like like we can't actually speak computer language, but we can speak a language called like Python or Java or C that's closer, that kind of that makes more sense to
Well,
us. That
I
kind
mean,
of
some
breaks
people
down.
can.
Mm-hmm.
You're right, but they don't. Those people aren't needed for 95% of coding jobs at this point.
No, yeah.
Just
So,
like that number will slowly move for people that are just really good at prompt engineering AI to do this stuff.
As we abstract it to like a higher and higher level. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I do think humans by nature want to be more like tactile with what they're doing. Like by nature, humans want to feel what they're like working on in their hands. They want to touch it. They want to be able to move it around. That's why you see a bunch of people trying to design online tools to be tactile in a sense. Like you have the haptic engine in the iPhone, and you have all this extra technology that gets put into these products in order for it to feel right. Yeah. And I don't know if humans will ever be able to let go of that feeling enough to say, I don't really want to be as ingrained in working in this thing. I want to have it pass through this filter of like AI. So I don't know if
I would disagree.
People are widespread going to adopt it.
I would just say that industry drives adoption of all that stuff, and industry doesn't care about the tactile nature. Like, I think people ultimately, the consumer, when they get in a plane, they're not thinking about who made it. And I think if industry decides that they have AI products that can design plane parts or rocket code that has a level of scrutiny that's comparable to humans, that they'll choose that because it's cheaper. That's why I feel like it. Ultimately, that's where this stuff is moving at some point. And although I agree with you completely, and I like being closer to the source of it because you feel more in control and you understand it more. I just feel like industry and the people that actually use code just will be people want to be closer to the ground are going to be driven out because it's going to become less efficient at some point.
Yeah. Speaking to your planes analogy, I absolutely think about who makes a plane whenever I get on it.
Yeah, but Finian, you're not the average person.
As long as it's not Boeing.